And we have something to discuss, guys. We got something to talk about because yesterday I saw a movie. I'll show you Discord. I'll Discord you. I saw a movie yesterday. I saw Creed 3. And I'm a decently big fan of, is that a phrase? I'm a fan of the Rocky movies. What's up, Bacon? I'm a fan of the Rocky movies. I'm a fan of the Creed movies. Not a big fan, mind you. Like, I don't know all the lore and all the details of the movies and everything, but I enjoy them. I enjoy them. And a part of me was interested in Creed 3 more than normal because I do like those movies, but the director, Michael B. Jordan, who also plays Adonis Creed, said that he was heavily influenced by anime with this movie. I actually talked about it a little before when sort of news about that started to come out. I was like, what is he talking about? Influenced by anime? What's going on here? Are we going to hear the jet turbine engines of a Dempsey roll right before he punches? Is this the deal? And I'll tell you this much, guys. I'll tell you this much. There is no Dempsey roll. Spoiler warning, there's no Dempsey roll in the movie, okay? If there was a Dempsey roll in Creed 3, I would have lost my mind. I would have crapped my pants and then stood up and just like been hooting and hollering in the theater the whole time. No Dempsey roll, no jet engine turbines for the punches. It's still a good movie. Despite that, it is still a very entertaining movie. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk a little bit about the anime aesthetic, the anime aspects of this movie. And again, it's not like I'm a big, huge anime fan that I can actually discuss with authority on this subject matter. But I have some thoughts. And we can get into it. Paper Joey, no Dempsey roll. I need to buy a ticket and demand my money back. Yeah, it's not like... Well, okay, Bacon. It's... Remember the phrasing. He said that he was inspired by anime. It's not that he was inspired by Hajime no Ippo specifically. And as a matter of fact, it seems to me that in a lot of the lead-up and promotion of this movie, when he was discussing it with the press and everything, it seems like a lot of the movies, anime that he was referring to, or stuff that he was thinking about, was like kind of like, I don't know what you want to call it. Like, you're more like mainstream anime, stuff like Dragon Ball, stuff like Naruto. He actually mentions Naruto a number of times in interviews, and he even went so far as to describe how the anime influence goes beyond simply the action parts, but into the plot of the movie itself, and the slower moments and all of that, relating it to Naruto and possibly other anime. But I think he was kind of very much focused on Naruto. But he did mention, like, if you wanted a anime starter pack and you're an absolute noob at anime, and what do you want to watch? What would he recommend? And again, he mentioned a lot of stuff that I would describe as like kind of like the standard stuff that's pretty easily accessible. And that's, you know what, whatever. That's totally fine. I'm not expecting him to refer to like Legend of the Overfiend. I'm not expecting him to mention Demon City Shinjuku. Not even Ninja Scroll. Not even Cowboy Bebop. All the fillers, yeah. So yeah, he mentioned like Dragon Ball, Naruto, and Hunter x Hunter. These are all things that he said like you should watch. Bacon breathe fire. Hand signs. Okay. So okay, let me get the model that we're gonna work on, and maybe I can kind of like take out the parts from the plastic. This is what we're working on today. No Sailor Moon. No, wait a minute. Are you telling me that Adonis Creed isn't gonna have a magical girl transformation scene? Are you telling me he's not gonna turn into a silhouette rainbow and then become naked and then get like and then turn into a Sailor Scout? tell me that doesn't happen in Creed 3? I'm sorry to tell you guys, it doesn't happen. That's his entrance. Okay. I think we're gonna have to write a sternly worded letter to Michael B. Jordan that he needs to up his game for anime references. He's a casual. Listen, you're a casual. How could you not have magical girl transformation scenes in your sports boxing movie? There was that one scene where, what a casual, where like he had a big sweat drop, and then like someone said something funny, and he like kind of slipped. He slipped. No, that didn't happen either. Death Note. But okay, guys. Right at the start, I felt like I was in good hands. I felt like I was in for a good movie. And again, that's taking into account that I do like these movies regardless, but also with that in mind that like are we getting an anime movie? Is this an anime boxing movie, right? And I swear to God, not even a minute passes. Not even a minute passes at the start of the movie, and what do I see, guys? What do I see? There's a Gundam. It's not this Gundam, but like within a minute of this movie starting, there's a Gundam. Can you believe it? A Gundam. And it's featured, I'm not going to say it's featured prominently, but it's very noticeable, and it's in it's not a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler, but it's in young Adonis Creed's room. And I'm pretty sure, guys, it's the perfect grade red Astray. Yeah, we're building the Banshee Norn today. Jose, pretty excited to at least start. But yeah, did I scream and cheer? No, but I looked at my brother. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh shit. But both of you guys. But that scene actually takes place in 2002. It's like a flashback, and I'm pretty sure that the unicorn, or rather the Red Astray, was like did not come out until long after that. Dr. Anime, what's up, Dr. Anime? How are you today? So yeah, I was like, all right, we got a Gundam, a Gunpla rather, right within like the first minute of the movie. So I was like, you know what? All right, I think we're doing okay. I think we're gonna be good. We're in good hands. And a part of me thinks, again, this is just conjecture on my part, guys. I cannot confirm or deny. A part of me thinks that Michael B. Jordan made that Gundam himself. Something tells me that he made that Gundam model himself, and he was like, I need to put this in the movie because I made it, and it's so cool, and I gotta have it in the movie. Shoot, there's a Gundam, but no, not historically correct Gundam. No, there's not. Excuse me, I don't think that the perfect grade Astray did not appear. Was not made in 2003 and was actually a 2016 release. So this movie is trash, inaccurate. That would be me as a director, exactly. Like, guys, look at this sweet Gunpla model I made. Can we put it in the movie somehow? We have to construct an entire. We need to construct an entire like flashback scene to feature a Gundam. I need my EG. I gotta get my EG in the shot, featured prominently for no reason. But let's talk just a little about Creed, a little bit more about how it relates to anime. And there's a lot you could get into, but I think if we kind of just stick to even just the action, that'll be plenty to talk about. And the first or second fight of the movie you get a taste. You get a taste of what the concept is here in terms of how is it that he's going to be uh, conveying this sense of anime filmmaking in a movie, right? Uh, and when you think about a lot of oh, I'm out of tape. When you think about a lot of boxing movies, or yeah, well, mostly just boxing movies, including the Rocky movies themselves, they're kind of shot in a way, oftentimes, where they make it look like realistic boxing. They make it look like realistic, at least to some degree, that the boxing is meant to convey a sense of realism, despite the fact that it's, you know, it's very exaggerated, the fighting, the choreography. As someone that watches actual boxing, it often looks a little over exaggerated, a little fake, right? In most boxing movies, right? Now, what they do in Creed 3 is that they kind of throw that away and they say, let's just make it look dramatic. Let's make it look as not over the top, but let's make it kind of, let's try and throw away this idea of trying to make it look realistic, because they never have, to be honest. And instead, let's just try and make it look impactful. And again, you know, taking a cue from anime, it looks, the hits and all of that seem really impactful. They will often focus on pro labeling going on here. Yeah, they'll focus on the hits, on the punches, and make you feel it. Like, and it's not because it looks realistic, but it's the sound design, it's the focusing in on the parts and seeing the sweat like separate from the body as the punches impact the body. And these are all things that you see in anime, which is pretty cool to see it now in a live action film, and done quite well. Paper Joe, I think Robin Williams had an Evangelion toy they lent to a movie, and he was in as a prop. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. There is this. There was this one movie where he's like recommending a model kit to someone, and supposedly he was like a big fan of Warhammer as well. It's pretty neat. Like the big letters. I need them big letters. Listen, my eyes ain't what they used to be. Need them big old letters. Bacon, good thing I'm not a director. I try to get my Daikamura in the shot somehow. Listen, Bacon's movie would actually be about the Daikamura. Dakimura. Dr. Anime, what if you made your very own mecha animated series? What look like? It would look like shit. I don't know. I have no idea. It would look like Giant Robo? I don't know. Chook, I knew that Robin Williams' daughter Zelda. Yes, after Legend of Zelda. Yes. He did indeed. Rip Robin Williams. One letter to fit my screen. Yeah, just one letter at a time. You don't know about this? I did this before. There we go. Okay. Now, we need A38 and E. A and E. Oh yeah, so I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished talking about Creed 3, guys. Earlier at the start of the stream, I was talking just a little bit about Creed 3, and I enjoy the Creed series. I enjoy the Rocky movies, the Rocky cinematic boxing universe. Creed 3 is the latest entry, and this time it was actually directed by Michael B. Jordan, who also plays Adonis Creed in the movie. Now, as I had said earlier, a lot has been made about the involvement of anime, the influence of anime in this movie. Michael B. Jordan during the press tour has often referred to the movie as being influenced by anime. We talked just a little bit about that, but there's one more thing that I wanted to talk about, at least that I can think of right now, and specifically as it relates to action. Now, we made a lot of jokes earlier about what exactly that was going to mean regarding, like, the inclusion of jet engine sounds, slow motion, a Dempsey roll, blah blah blah. None of those things happen. There is slow mo and stuff, but I was starting to think again prior to actually seeing the movie that we were going to get some kind of rather than an issue of the animation, or rather like making it look like anime, the action in terms of the intensity or including speed lines or something very superficial like that. I was starting to think maybe what they were going to do was incorporate like the internal monologue, if you will, in this movie. I was starting to think maybe that if you've watched anime, like sports anime specifically, often they'll have the internal dialogue, monologue of the character, their thoughts as the action is happening, much like what is it? Like Haikyuu or Ippo itself, yes, and many other sports anime, they do this kind of thing. And in an interview with Michael B. Jordan, he was talking about how in anime and in the fight scenes, what they do is that the action is very intense. If you take something like Dragon Ball, for example, the action is very intense. Ba 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 ba. But then there's like these slower moments. It's punctuated by these slower moments where it almost seems like the time has like kind of stopped, or it's slowed down, and it's really had focused in on the characters. And then you get their internal, like it's more about the internal emotions of the characters, right? And when he said that, and again, this is prior to watching the movie, I was almost dead certain that we were going to get that kind of sports anime internal dialogue in this movie. And again, guys, I'll tell you again that that's not what happens, okay? Don't go expecting a Dempsey roll. Don't go expecting, speed lines and stuff like that, or internal dialogue. I'll go into it a bit. Let's catch up with the chat. Bacon, a detailed analysis from someone in the audience. That's also a very anime thing. Hobby stuff. I love sports anime as a kid, but the only two things that we had were Captain Tsubasa and Milla Superstar. Captain Tsubasa, we've got another Captain Tsubasa star, Captain Tsubasa fan here in the chat. Bacon is a big fan as well. Hobby, will we see the curvature of Earth in the boxing ring? So, I don't want to spoil it, guys, but also I kind of want to talk about it. So if you really, really care about this, the third Creed movie in this long-running line of boxing movies, maybe cover your ears. But at the same time, if you were kind of like mildly interested in this movie, maybe by talking about it and talking about why I think it's interesting, maybe that'll get you interested in seeing it. So again, guys, I'm going to talk about something that happens in the movie, and if you really, really don't want to get spoiled, just like not listen for a few minutes. But at the same time, I think it's really interesting, and maybe by talking about it, maybe it'll get you guys to see it, like, or at least catch it later down the line on Netflix or something. But there's a part in the movie where they enter what I think Michael B. Jordan calls it the void. Basically, they fight in another dimension. There's a part in this movie where they fight in effectively a different dimension, and it's actually a very visually arresting, a very visually compelling kind of scene, and it happens in a key moment in the film, and by the time that other dimension fight happens, and you understand how much time has passed, you're kind of shocked. You're like, whoa, so much time has passed once they fought in this other dimension. And things happen in this other dimension that is symbolic, I'll say. It's really cool. It's a fight scene that is, in a sense, kind of symbolic or abstract, if you want to call it that. And it's not a very long sequence, but it's an important sequence. And I will say that in addition to that scene, many of the other fights in Creed 3 feel more interesting than other boxing movies, including the other Rocky and Creed movies, because they've paid attention to action in a different way than the way we understand sports movies are sort of filmed and shot, and it stems from this aspect of wanting to be a bit more like Dragon Ball, wanting to be a bit more like Naruto or anime. I'm Soul Bacon. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, I don't think I can really overhype it because it just sounds so weird and bizarre. So if you want it, and again, it's not a long sequence, but it is an important sequence, and it's pretty neat. And again, it's something that you've never seen in a Rocky movie before, and I think that's really neat. That they would go and try something different, you know. And it's not it's not a perfect movie, guys. That's the other thing I want to mention, is that Creed 3 is not like the best Rocky movie. It's not the best Creed movie. It might not even be the best Creed movie. I think that the first one was good, and I don't really remember the second one all too much. But it's good, and Michael B. Jordan has also mentioned how this movie is also like anime, kind of beyond the fight scenes, and even when you think about the drama and the characters and stuff, that's something that I'm gonna have to think about and reflect on more. But I will say that, in a weird way, all Rocky movies have been kind of anime, in the sense that what is a sports anime other than simply drama played out in a ring, played out in a soccer field, played out in a on a basketball court? It's drama. It's human drama, played out through sport, and that's all Rocky has ever been, right? That's all Rocky has ever been. Rocky very well might be the first anime movie, sports anime movie, and we didn't even know it. He gets like a cute little nerdy waifu. He even gets a robot at one point. Rocky just might have been actual anime, and we just didn't even know it, guys. He had a robot, yes. He had a robot. He's lived a full ass life. Oh, that's the other thing, guys. They've been quite public about it, but there's no Rocky in this movie. Like, Sylvester Stallone is not in this movie. And so if you really, really love Rocky, the character Rocky, you might be disappointed because he's not in it, and you kind of feel his absence in a lot of ways, just because as you know, you can say whatever you want about Sylvester Stallone's acting, but he really is, or was, the glue of the franchise. You know, like he's the guy. He's Rocky, man. And so for him to not be there, it's a little, you can feel it. Hobby, he fought Russian Superman. Yeah, yeah. Think about it. Think about like your favorite anime, sports anime that is. They have like training sequences. It's really exciting, blah blah blah, and it's like what are Rocky movies about? They've got these long training sequences, about getting stronger, about friendship and brotherhood. It's just interesting, because I'm a big nerd. I like anime, and I wanted to see for myself what that actually meant. And having seen Creed 3, I'm like, okay, I can see it. I think that he could have even gone further in a sense, but at the same time, I think he was showing a bit of restraint in terms of like the movie he wanted to make, and just like being its own thing. I see purple is here. Consume beverage. I got you right here. Even in the anime, the team always loses the first game to come back later. There you go. Just like good old Rocky. Just like good old Rocky. Ba, ba. This does not seem right. Is this the right piece? Ba? E26? Yeah. Those clear parts are interesting. Yeah, they're really neat. They've got a lot of interesting shapes, but it's a little tricky to kind of understand how I put them on, just because they're like they're so oddly shaped. Bacon, this is just the beginning. He'll show his true power level next time. Yeah, he's gonna advance into another power level, and then his hair starts glowing. Adonis, I would love that, dude. That's what I'm saying. He could go. They could have gone farther. They definitely could have gone farther. I'm not saying that far, but they definitely could have punched it up even more, make it even more like anime. But listen, man, this is as far as I know, this is Michael B. Jordan's first directorial debut. So I mean, like, good on him. Good on him for that. I think he's onto something. Because here, you know what? I don't know how many of you have seen the Speed Racer movie. Speed Racer, the Wachowski siblings movie. Now, that movie is based off of an anime, Speed Racer, but it has an anime-esque fight scene. But it's very obnoxious. It's very superficial in the way that they went about trying to make it look like an anime action scene. And that was the one where they included speed lines, and they changed the background to look like, speeding, kind of like weird colors and all this stuff. But I remember seeing that and thinking like, nah, that's not it. This isn't the wave. Because it's just a very superficial kind of attempt at making something look like anime. And I think what they did in Creed was kind of look at how action scenes are done in things like Naruto and all that stuff, and try and interpret that for a movie for the Western audience. And I think that they came across Chugi. Bacon, it's Chugi. Oh my god. I love it, guys. I love it.